Rise up, Rapids. We're back again with another edition of the highlight performances from some of the swim meets that we have. This time in particular, we were focusing on the championship meet called the Icebreaker Invitational that was up in Warrenton the first weekend of December. This was a particularly special meet because we've been gearing towards it for several months, and a lot of our athletes actually rested and prepared specifically for this meet. So if you want to read all of the amazing performances, that's what the meet write-up is for. This, however, is celebrating some of the things that you might not know by getting to look through the box scores from the meet. So let's go ahead and start off with Friday night. We had some of our younger swimmers that came in, a young girl named Annika Williamson. We are actually doing the warm-ups, and we say, hey, we're just going to do a 100 choice for warm-ups. And what does she do? She's one of the youngest swimmers on the team. Her 100 choice was a 100 butterfly to start up the warm-up. I was looking at the coach next to me. I was like, well, I guess that's one way to start with a warm-up. So Annika, good job. No fear fly. That was great. Her sister, Emily Williamson, another swimmer that doesn't have any fear whatsoever. She got in, and she's only 12. And she swam the 400 IM, dropped something like 21 seconds, which was amazing. And then she came back and doubled up and did the 500 free also. A lot of 12-year-olds are afraid to do either or, and she's doing both of them within about 40 minutes of each other, which was amazing. So Emily, props to you for doubling up with no fear. We did have a kind of a cool moment that Friday evening. We shared our warm-up lanes with another team from New Jersey, and they were called the Riptides. So we actually had the Rapids and the Riptides in the water at the same time sharing the waters, and we kind of made a joke about it being dangerous waters because we get the Riptides and the Rapids in there. But I just really like how easily our swimmers just adapted to a team and swimmers that they've never met before, and they got a good warm-up and then ended up swimming really well afterwards. Fast forward to Saturday morning where we had some of our older swimmers. We had a couple of really interesting moments that happened. A young swimmer named Christine Dadovich, who you probably will get to read a lot about because she swam really, really fast. Well, this moment in particular had only a little bit to do with how fast she went. She actually swam under a minute in the 100 backstroke, which is really fast for anybody, nevertheless a 13-year-old. And her reaction afterwards was priceless. I mean, she was, it was like she had just won a pageant or something like that. But that initial reaction only lasted for a couple of seconds. And as soon as the rest of the field finished the race and caught up to where she was, she immediately switched her reaction from, I'm so proud of myself, to, who can I congratulate? And she reached across the lane and congratulated the girl next to her immediately. That was her number one thought. So shout out, Christine, for putting your focus into your opponents and being good friends with them. Another swim that was really special, and we actually wrote about this in an article, but you got to hear about it because it's a cool story. A young man named Trevor Andruski, who's in our 15 to 16 age group, he had just barely missed finals in the 50 freestyle, and he tied for an alternate spot. And what they do is they swim off. They have you swim and race someone else. The other swimmer was from NCAP, which is nation's capital, biggest team in the country. They had a bunch of swimmers there. Well, we had a lot of swimmers there too. So they put all the swimmers at the end of their lane. We put all our swimmers at the end of Trevor's lane, and they blasted this 50 free. It was like two heavyweights going after it in a boxing match. And it was epic. Now, Trevor did end up losing because you don't take a breath off if you're all on a 50, Trevor. He knows that. But he dropped from 23.1 to a 22.7, which for an older kid in a 50 is a huge drop. The place was just electric and blowing up like a tornado. And you can imagine how exciting it was. And he got a senior championship qualifying time in the process. So Trevor, great swim on that one. Moving on to Saturday, we had, later on Saturday, we had some younger swimmers that did some special things. A young man named Bradley Phillips. Now, Bradley had already gone from not wanting to do a backstroke flip turn. He went to a touch on an early race. And then he went and tried it on the next race and got disqualified for doing the turn incorrectly. So anybody would have been, discouraged from that. Not Bradley. He let off backstroke on the relay later on and did the flip turn and did it correctly. So props to you, Bradley, for going from not wanting to do it to getting disqualified and not letting that bother you and going back and doing it right. Great job on that. Another props goes out to Drew Covington. He's a 9-year-old on the team. He didn't want to swim the 100 fly because he had fear of it, right? But it was just the fear of the unknown, not fear of the actual stroke itself. He's got one of the best, most beautiful flies on the team. But Drew goes into this race not wanting to do it, kills it, and feels really good about himself and had a big smile on his face afterwards. So Drew, congrats on entering the No Fear Fly Club. And then finally, last but not least, on Sunday evening, right, Saturday evening it was electric. Like I said, we had a tons of senior swimmers there that were cheering. Well, Sunday evening, it was a little bit different because some of our swimmers had to go home, right? So because of that, we were only left with the senior swimmers that had made the final swim. So it was a little bit smaller crew. They did not let that stop them one single bit. What they did was they actually warmed themselves up, which was a pretty cool moment. And then without me saying a single word, they all got out and they created a cheer together. Yes, teenagers created a cheer together. And it was a really good one. If you want, and I think I put it on my Twitter feed, you can go check out the cheer. I mean, they're like bouncing and dancing, and it was pretty cool. It was totally organic, totally on their own. That's what I like to see, Rapids. So keep that kind of stuff up. Anyway, great meet. We're very proud of you guys. We'll celebrate a little bit about the Christiansburg meet coming up next.